Yes, just give me a tick. I'm getting the tech going. We'll be starting shortly. Just want to check that we've actually just got to have a quick look at our live page there just to check that we're all good. And I'm just going to log into the chat, so just give me a sec. Been running a little bit late today, but we're going to get going shortly. Okay, that can sit there. Now let's just, what I'm doing now, I should have been set up, but I've got caught out this morning. I'm just going to log into Chatwing as well, so then we can check that everything's working and how our sound is running. And then we'll get going. Okay. Now let's see if we can get this thing happening. Get one of the glasses on, and we're going to do a bit of a tour. What would be great is if we've got anybody on the chat there, if you could just let me know that we've got good sound. It's always good to know that we can hear you from the other side, because I've got the sound turned off on this end, so I can't tell if you guys can hear me. But it'd be great if you could type into the chat. And actually, what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to open up my chat just in another window too, because what we're doing today, I'm going to show you briefly behind the scenes of how I've set things up. I've left a lot of the wires and things around, so you can see what you've got to actually deal with in terms of covering things up and what you need to do when you're actually going live on air. But this way I'll be able to show you the sort of things that I use. We're in my picture framing workshop, because later on today I run live training every month here. So what I do is I teach people how to do framing, and so this is ideal if you're running training for people. You can see the type of camera setup and stuff like that. So just bear with me. I'm hopping in on another computer as well. It's like what I'm doing today is I'm juggling between running this in Google Hangouts. At the same time, I've got Webinar Jam running in the background, and I'm also trying Chatwing, which is the chat function that's inside Instant Customer. So what we'll do is we'll actually here we go. What we'll actually do is I'll post. Oh, great! Thanks, Murray. I've got that message there. That's great. What we'll do, I've also got running here high definition camera backup. You'll see it in a minute. We'll have a look at how we've hooked it up into my MacBook Pro here. But I'm running the main thing through a little PC with 3 USBs. Now, I just better actually check. I've also got wireless mic, which I'm going to pop that one on because in the backup we want the sound recording. You'll see that shortly. It's like everything. When you go to do live stuff, you can never be prepared enough. And I thought, I'll walk in here and just paste my codes this morning and things have been a little bit delayed. Hi Rich, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining me. Now a little bit on the tech side. We're running this through Google Hangouts. So I'm broadcasting out of Australia, we don't have great upload speed. So I've tried a few things yesterday with some of the high definition things, and we get a bit of dropout. If we do drop out today while we're testing things, just hold on, because normally I can get the tech back. If we do lose the feed entirely, I am making backup recordings so that we'll put a replay link, and I'll let you guys know. And even with the backup, I'll edit that up, and you can see what we do in terms of how we give our members a higher definition product at the end of the day, because I do this on a regular basis for some of my clients. I've got one big surgical client in particular, and we run broadcasts for them every month. So I've got a bit of experience at it, but there's always something new to learn, and there's always something technical that can go wrong or does go wrong, especially when we're rushing. So in Google Hangouts, just down, if you're not familiar with YouTube, there is a little settings button. It's the little star setting down on this side. You can actually adjust that setting to 720p. That's the highest resolution that you'll get over this broadcast. And what I'll be doing, I will be, oh, that's great, thanks. Hello, Mark, good morning. And Rich, or it may not be morning for you guys, but certainly I really appreciate you turning up to have a look at what we're doing today. So I've got the chat running over on one screen, and I've got Google Hangouts running here actually with the Webinar Jam functionality. So at some point, what I'll do is I'll paste a link from the Hangout into the chat, and then what you can always do is you can open Webinar Jam in a separate window, and you can see some of the functionality that is different in there to what is inside Instant Customer. I haven't used Instant Customer for broadcasting for my clients yet, but I have used Webinar Jam quite a lot, and you know, from point of view of registering people and things like that, I'm sure Instant Customer works really well, so I wanted to test it with this platform today, so that again I can test and see how you find it out and how the feedback works with you guys. So what I've got, I'm talking into a little Logitech camera, and then also I have here in my hand a little GorillaPod that I've mounted onto the top a webcam. I normally test this before I go live, but I haven't tested it today. So if we lose coverage when I switch cameras, I'm going to show you how I switch cameras from inside Hangouts, but I'm going to switch over to the little cam, because then what I can do, I can show you the various bits and pieces around the table here. So just give me a sec. And this is one thing actually, when I use multiple cameras, and I haven't broadcast through my big HD through the Firewire cable, and we'll look at that a bit later on, but I actually had a dropout yesterday when I tried it, and I think it's because it just chewed up the bandwidth. But often we use little webcams and we position them in different places, and you'll see how I've got a few things positioned around here now. Also, if you have any questions in relation to the tech or how we've done wiring or things like that, by all means pop them in the chat. I've got the chat coming up in front of me there. There is always, if you're aware, there's always about 30 seconds delay between me actually saying something. It comes across to you guys as live, but when you type something into the chat, we've actually sort of moved on 30 seconds from when you're typing. So I will have a look at it. If there's anything there later on, if you need any questions, you can always leave a question there. If we don't get to answer it to camera, I can always look at it later, and I can either message you inside the community, or I can send you an email. So anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to switch cameras to this little Microsoft camera, and this is occasionally when we have an issue. I want to also check, yes, I've got my Yeti there working, which is the sound, and so I'm just going to flip over. That's what I normally do when I talk to people. Now, I think we just lost it there. which is not always good. Okay, bear with me. Sometimes when we switch it would be temperamental when I actually go to use my little webcam. It would be temperamental that that we lose things today. So just bear with me because I'll try to get us back on. And also I'm going to see if I can log in under one of my other, it may be the extension cable, it may be the USB port that causes this sometimes. Hopefully you're still getting some feed there. Hopefully you're still getting sound. Let's see if we can't get that screen back up. Actually, just have a bit of a look in there. I can see that we're down for a second. Cool. Okay. Sorry, I lost a little bit there. This, I don't know why, a little bit temperamental. I might try just to switch on and actually have a camera wired in. I'm running these through about 2 meter or 2 to 5 meter USB extension leads, and sometimes we lose a bit of connectivity when we switch cameras. And I'd like to try different things in terms of using the cameraman function inside Google Hangouts, but usually what I do is I have the settings open inside Hangouts and I select the different cameras from the settings. Now I'm going to do it again, so I just hope we don't drop out. Please stay with me if we do. Okay, where did we go there? Right. Now, hopefully you're getting this. I can see on my camera here, but we got a little bit of. I'm not sure whether you're getting it out there because I can see a bit of problem in the background. Now, so what I've got here, this you can see here. I'm going to come up and have a look. So now I'm using my little Sony LifeCam. This is the JVC cam that we've got hooked up with our wireless lavalier mic on the top there, and underneath here is our little Logitech. So what I do is I mount the two on one tripod and I wire it up. So I'll come around and just have a bit of a look. So I'm just using the handheld Microsoft webcam to zoom in and show you. So this is the little high def cam, and in the background there I'm actually recording the background that I've got behind me here. So I was going to show you later on how using a television sort of type background behind a broadcast, even though it's smaller for what we're looking at in the main background, I'm able to use that to brand my business. So I've also got a little Kodak flip cam, so I'll just come back. So there's a little Kodak flip cam, and that camera there is actually recording down towards what we're doing over on the other side. So often I'd have that camera sitting up looking down on the work table, and I've also got up on the ceiling here a little GoPro. So for when I'm doing my training, I have the GoPro recording the overheads. I have the little Play Touch just recording close-ups, and I have the big JVC over there just recording all the main front footage. Now, with the actual connections here, oh, and by the way, Yeti mic on the bench. So you can see we've got cables coming out of our mic, it running into my little laptop here, and you can see what I've done. I've got my settings. Hopefully you can see that there. I've got my where are we? There we go. I've got my settings panel open in Hangouts, and that's how I'm switching between cameras. So I was switching from that Microsoft Life Cam to the Logitech camera. Now, so the cable's basically running in through the USB ports, and this one here, this is an extension cable that is running down and over and across. Normally you can have it up to about 5 or 6 meters away, and it runs up into the little Logitech there. So cable's running across the floor. I've got power board, and I have 2 big softbox lights there. One up in the back on the right, one on the left, and they illuminate the scene. Often we'll use a green screen. Often we'll use a green screen as well. Now today, as I was saying, here's a little background. So you lose them on the back of me there. Nothing like live. I just thought I'd stand this up so that I've got my main camera zooming in onto that, and then if I needed to talk, I could run a conversation sort of with that in the background and actually come in close with my my higher definition camera. So the main JVC camera that I'm running there, I've got coming out of it this HDMI cable, and the HDMI cable runs down, and this is where I did have some issues. We've just been playing with this the other day, but it runs down and into the mini recorder. And so in on one side, HDMI, and out on the other side is your Thunderbolt cable. So that Thunderbolt, it runs into our Mac, and as you can see over here, I'm going to film the screen for a second. This is the view. Okay. That says in Chatwing. Cool. It logged me out of Chatwing. I hadn't actually written anything. I probably should write something to you guys just so so that I keep it live. I'm just putting the tech is always challenging. Now, one thing I found when I'm actually doing broadcasts for clients is that I get their staff to run the chat. So really, it usually takes, we usually have at least 3 people involved when we're doing things. We have one person running the chat. I would usually take care of the tech in terms of the filming and setting up the broadcasts and everything like that. And then we'd also have the presenters. And that way we've run things where we've had up to sort of 9 or 10 presenters running a 2.5-hour broadcast. And I've got people there answering chat, and I'm sort of just dealing with the tech side. Now, of course, it's always a challenge when you've got a room full of people as well, and you've got people online, and you've got to be able to come up with things and solve problems on the fly. Now, one thing about this setup, so I'll shoot back the other way again so you can see I've got my little, well, I've got my little, put that one down. I've got my little, or my big lights sitting either side. Ideally, I would love to have some other lights up in behind and lighting the background, but we're usually pretty good with training here. I'm going to flip back over, and we have a little bit of a look on the actually at this mini recorder. Now, has anybody got any questions, just basically that they'd want to have a look at in relation to the setup that they've got going on? Is there anything that you guys need to know other than sort of that basic wiring everything up and firing it up? Because I'd love to answer for you if you've got any questions, so you can always pop them into the chat. Now, what I'll also do is I'm going to just hop into Webinar Jam, And what I'll do is I'll just grab a link so that I've got, I don't know whether you can hear in the background, we've actually got the guy, we're here early in the morning today, and we've got our local guy who blows all the leaves around. So if there's a bit of background noise, we're actually in a retail shop here. We've got a retail store out the back, our workshop out the back here, and this is our fitting up area where we assemble all our frames and things like that. So I'm just hopping in, and I'm going to grab, and I'll paste a link. I'll just paste a link from this into the chat. And what you can do here is, if you I'm just going to send you the generic link. It'll still ask you to subscribe when you do this, but it'll show that it's broadcasting already. And I'd suggest that you open this link in a second window or a second tab, and that way you can see how Webinar Jam looks, and maybe we can share our screen as well so that we can have a little bit of a look and show you the different look of the chat function in there, and the different look of the actual of the format of how you work. So you could quite legitimately, I think, run both from Webinar Jam to one group of clients, for example, and you could also run an instant customer lead capture campaign that sorted out the automation there, because Webinar Jam doesn't have any real lead generation. What you can do is you just send people a link to actually access it. But there are some so I've pasted that link in there. You can see it's Webinar Jam Go Live, and there's a couple of numbers, and it says access OK. If you actually click that link, you can open it up. If you're watching this on a replay, by the way, and you need that link, I'll try and paste that somewhere in on the page when we get to that replay point in time. Didn't have the link prior to this, so it's only in the chat on Instant Customer with the live cast. So what ends up happening how do you set up YouTube Live? Okay, with right, so there's a few things. Thinking on how Hangouts versus YouTube Live from Rich. Okay, basically Google Hangouts is YouTube Live and vice versa. It used to be that you needed to get, originally it was 1,000 subscribers. So on one of my YouTube channels, which is Foam Boards, we actually sell white cardboard. We have something like 2,500 subscribers on that channel. So I was able to get YouTube Live early in the piece. What happened the other day with using I just set up a new YouTube channel, which was Jump the Divide, which is one that I wanted to work with my business for helping people get over that technological divide. And it allowed me to do a YouTube Live broadcast straight from there. So basically there's not really much difference between Hangouts and YouTube Live, although with Hangouts you get your functionality of being able to switch cameras and being able to share screens and things like that, whereas YouTube Live, I would imagine you would want to use it with Wirecast or with something else to help you control the actual broadcast. So I think when you're broadcasting YouTube Live, you're putting it out straight away there, and so you want to do your mixing prior to putting it down the pipe into YouTube Live, because I don't think you have the same sort of control that you do with Hangouts, at least on a basic level. I think if you're going to, like, we have an issue here that we can't really get much better internet upload speeds in Australia, and I'm told that I'm not going to get them for about 4 years. So it's difficult to be able to use the higher definition that might be available in YouTube Live. But for your circumstance, if you have good camera and are able to and are able to utilize that 1080 resolution, I certainly would look at YouTube Live. But in both cases, it does create a YouTube video, so it will make one inside your Google Plus account and inside your YouTube channel. I think it's also good to better picture on Hangouts than on WJ. Okay, so that's interesting to note. Yeah, I wasn't sure how it would look, and it may be as well, if you're watching inside Webinar Jam, you may need to again adjust your resolution. I just want to see if we lose something here. It's a little bit tricky because I've actually got my screens up here showing that I'm not really getting. I'm trying to watch. If you understand, I'm trying to see what's going on. Often when I'm doing a live cast, I have another computer set up behind the camera, and I run the live cast through that so that I'm looking over there. Today, I've sort of got it sitting right on here on the Mac in front of me, and I've got Webinar Jam open on the screen on the left. Now, I can see that on Instant Customer we've got the Get Access Now button. I didn't look a lot at whether we could pop that button. I'm sure the button can be popped up at a certain time in the video to then and change that graphic to link to whatever you want to. And this is the one thing about that I found with Webinar Jam, is that you get some quite good ability to not just do chat, but there is more functionality in terms of being able to run surveys on clients and things like that. So I hope I can just switch over and pop up. I'll try and share my screen actually. I just want to see if I can share the Webinar Jam screen so that you can see what it looks like from my end. Now, so just pop. Okay. So what I've done, sorry, bear with me. I should have just. I need to share just the Hangout screen and not the full screen. Otherwise, I was going to end up with that kind of image. So I just want to show you from my. Oh, okay, so what I've got up here, you're actually seeing that infinite vision on Hangouts if you're looking at the footage still. Don't worry that I'm not there at the second. Let's just have a look on the right-hand side. You can see that you've got chat and polls and attendees and various pop-ins. So, for example, if I wanted to just pop something into the footage, we could type something there and it would pop up in the lower thirds. I'm going to come back and I'll actually try and do it. I'll try and do it with my little webcam to show you. And if you are looking inside the Webinar Jam function while you're watching this, I can take you for a quick tour through what some of those things are there. So, like within, for example, if you're inside on the is Yeti. Yeah, Yeti is the mic that I'm using. I don't know whether, I don't think I've got any other mic. I don't use the webcam mic, although I have got the little lavalier mic running into the camera there on wireless, so we're getting good backup recording. Now, with inside the Webinar Jam platform, you're able to pop things up. So, you know, for example, if you're looking in there at the moment, I can display an offer, and I've just pre-populated an offer, which was just to ask you guys to friend me on Facebook in relation to Jump the Divide, because I'm trying to kick that Facebook page off. So for example, if I push display offer, it would display publicly to you guys a like Jump the Divide, and it's got a little graphic there of the offer, and also a fact that it'd have a link to make you go to Facebook and actually do that. So I'd appreciate if you do that. What I'm going to try and do, I'm going to try and switch back over just onto the little camera so you can see what the footage is like from my screen in relation to Hangouts, because when I try to share the screen there, we get that infinite view. So yeah, sound. The two most important things that I find, and it's the same, it's what Mike will always tell you, it's always lighting and sound. So it really pays to invest in a good microphone that you wear, and the Yeti is excellent. Like we've used Yeti a lot. Now, the other day I did try to run the Ultra Studio, and one thing that I have found, if you're doing it, you need to set up in your settings inside Safari, you need to go into the system preferences and actually choose HDMI. That's the Blackmagic setting. Otherwise, you get no input. And I was messing around for hours before I found that out. So that was just a little tip. And the other thing, software that comes with the Blackmagic device, there is something called Media Express, and that enables you to run live capture. Really useful, because for example, you can set the recording on your camera, and you're recording, say, onto one of these SDHC cards. You know, you want to put a big card in there so that you can record in high definition and have a lot of footage. But at the same time, if you're running it through the Blackmagic Mini recorder, you don't necessarily need to be using that footage for live feed. What you can use it for is to record straight onto the hard drive. Now that is really useful, because then you can edit straight away, you can actually compress, and you can use that footage direct from the file that you've created in the computer. It's a big time saver as well, because otherwise what you've got to do is you've got to go and download the footage from your camera. So this was something else. Thanks, Rich. Thanks for the like. So what I'll do, I'll flip over and I'll just show you. I don't know, some of you guys may have looked inside. We may lose it here again, because this is my dodgy camera switching technique. But we're going to into the here we go. So that also gets me that beautiful footage of never-ending vision. So down on this side, we've actually got that those various offers that you can use. So just try to balance this here and keep it on this side of the screen so that you can have a bit of a look. So for example, when you're using Webinar Jam, you've got your chat function right on the side here, so you can always just say, you know, hi and welcome, and then you get a different type of chat going on. So for example, I've just displayed that as a sticky, so you'd see that in your chat function. The other thing that's quite, I'll just enable the chat. Hey Mark, hey Rich. So that's cool, so you guys can see, I can see the chat there as well. Now I'm not going to exactly chat a lot on that one, but we've got polls. This is very useful. For example, poll question: do you prefer XXX? So you might ask a question, and then you go answer A, answer B, and you can add more and more poll options. So for example, we could make the results public at the end of the poll. Now this is really useful if you're doing research for clients. Hopefully you can see it there. It's a little bit bright on that screen, but what happens is if we display that poll, then people are able to tick a question, whether they want to answer it or not. So I'll come in and see if I can get that. Not great filming the other screen, but for example, answer A, and then people can vote on that. So it's quite handy. And I say the other thing is you can also see on your attendee list. So we got Mark and Rich there, both logged into, and myself logged into Webinar Jam, and the other guys are still out there in Instant Customers. The other thing you can do is you can pop in a video. So we could have pre-configured videos. So for example, if you're going to go and do a broadcast using Webinar Jam, you can actually have other videos that you pop in on the fly. Now that's useful. For example, we run one particular webinar for a company, and what we do is we have the actual the owner of the business makes a live introduction at the beginning, and it appears live. And then what we do is we've edited up their best seminar, and we replay the best seminar as if it was live, and then the clients are there answering questions in chat, but the people are actually watching a recording, and this enables them to give the highest quality that they can to their clients, rather than just sort of winging it. Or if someone does something wrong, it's always tricky. So what I might do, I'm going to wrap this up soon, because we definitely need to other things going on today as well. But I wanted to check. I wanted to check with you guys if there's. I saw there in the chat. I'm going to come back into the chat and just have a quick look through and just see if there are any other questions that I could answer. Nervousness. Yeah, it's great. Everything in relation to doing things with Instant Customer, and it's my experience. I used Instant Customer 2 years ago. I was in it for a little while. I ducked out of it. I used Traffic Geyser for a number of years, and that's how originally I established quite a lot of following on YouTube in relation to my picture framing business. And then as the technology, Mike was working on things behind the scenes, and I felt I'd got enough out of it, so I dipped out of that for a while. And then I came back in and I used Instant Customer again last year, and that helped me land a really big client. They liked the tech. We were using the text messaging functionality, so they really liked that technology, and it helped me land the client. But then the client didn't want to use that technology right there and then. But over the last 6 months, we've been working with them and developing other things. And now that we've gone from them, that they had roughly 3,000 people a month traffic to their website, and of that 3,000, they were only getting about 30 leads. And so we worked heavily on lead generation methods with inside their site, and we had just used basic autoresponder. But now the clients want to use follow-up campaigns using SMS. So I've come back into Instant Customer again, and I think in making the most out of Instant Customer, it's up to you guys. It's like anything. You got to get out there, get your name out there, not be worried. Practice on the tech side. Like, it can always get better, but what happens is as you start to do those things, you actually get more experience than other people, and then you naturally do position yourself as the expert on that. And it's quite funny, because now once you're in with those clients, they then want you to fix their other problems, and that's really where the financial reward out of using something like Instant Customer is. And it's not just using the tech that's there, but using the knowledge, all that knowledge base that Mike's built up over the years. There's so much information, it is always overwhelming, but all you do is you start with one thing, gradually work on it. I run a model where I charge clients a monthly data fee, or monthly data fee for all the tech side, so that if they decide not to use me as a consultant anymore, I still have some recurring income from the setup that we've done behind the scenes. And then I also charge them monthly consulting. And the other thing that I'd suggest, and this is something that I have in place with one particular client, and that is that I actually am in for a percentage of the business that's generated. And so when we're dealing with things where clients are spending between an average of the bottom sale is $6,000 and the average is around $20,000, I'm in quite a good position, because we can increase traffic, increase business for them, and I pick up a nice commission at the end of the day. So you need to, if you're thinking of pricing things, you just need to position yourself, how you want to position yourself, and you just get out there. And I've found getting out there, meeting people, that is the only way. I use many different autoresponders, but I'm going to bring in some of my clients now into Instant Customer, because I like Mike, I like the technology, and it's one thing that he's always pushing things forward and developing new and better methods. So I think we'll wrap it up. If you haven't got any other questions, I'd love to come back another time. I will post something in there if there's something that I can help you guys with. Please just ask, just let me know. I'd really like to form relationships with people that are also like-minded and actually want to move their business forward. So actually, before we go, what I'll do is I'll try, when I set this Hangout up, I tried to set myself up in as another presenter. And so what I was going to do, I'm going to log in as a guest, and then I'll try and share the big screen there, and my high definition camera there, and that way, I just want to have a quick look. This is where I had issues. I was running through this last night, thinking, do I want to use the Thunderbolt cable and the HDMI, which it created problems. And so what I've done today is I'm running a little 4G wireless hub that I'm running the Mac through, and hopefully it won't chew the bandwidth. So yeah, it might actually be a problem with sound. So if we start getting echoes and things like that, let's just have a look. So yeah, what it wants to do is it wants to switch over, and so then I think I need to use the cameraman function in here, which I'm just setting up. So just 2 seconds. Hi, there we go. Okay, so what I'm going to try and do, I'm going to try and bring in, it wants to pick me up. Yeah, it wants to pick me up on the second screen, so hopefully we're not getting too much of an echo there. I'm just going to try and choose from the camera setting. So what I'll do, I'm going to put on this little camera again, and I just want to show you what I'm trying to do on the other screen, because this may actually be of interest. Hopefully we don't drop here. Let's just have a look. Cool. Okay, so what I want to do in my settings as a guest, I'd like to come in and choose eyeglasses. And then I just downloaded this as a demo the other day just to have a look, and I'm going to try and use the Blackmagic camera. Hopefully that will allow me to do that. So it still wants to show the wrong camera here, but I just want to try and see if I can share it over. And this is where I got into a little bit of hassle yesterday with getting that Blackmagic camera going. And this is one of those things that with experimenting with the different cameras, now it may just be taking time to come up yeah, so it doesn't like me on that actual camera. So that is one of the tech issues where what I've done, I've actually joined. I'm going to duck out of here because I don't want to be. I just dropped out. I was trying there to show you the footage through the Blackmagic recorder and through me as a guest, and really it wasn't playing games with wasn't playing the game with me. So I will work that tech out, and I'll come back at a later stage and I'll show that to you. I tried yesterday and I was able to share the footage, but it basically killed my feed because I think the resolution from the high definition camera overloads my upload speed, which here we have only an average of about 700 kilobits a second. On a good day it's 1 megabit, so we really can't broadcast in quite the best definition that we could. So I'll just have a quick look back in the chat on things doing not doing this very, what is your preference? Thanks for doing this, very insightful. Okay, thanks a lot, guys. Please, thanks for liking Jump the Divide on Facebook. If you want to have a look at some of the other videos that I've done, which are that are different, some of our training stuff that we've done, if you want to see the progression of how the video has improved, we have a YouTube channel. I'll type a couple of YouTube channels into the chat. We have one which is called EndureArt, and it's a brand that we use. So it's the YouTube user is EndureArt, so it's youtube.com/EndureArt. And the other one, EndureArt and foam boards. And we're running some training through those. Those are two of the YouTube. Oh, sorry, it's actually come up there as foam boards in 2 words. I'll paste it as a youtube.com/foam boards. That's one of them, and the other one EndureArt. If you want to have a look, basically the EndureArt channel, we started with a channel for our business, and it was called Fix a Frame after our business, but we set up a secondary channel inside Traffic Geyser, which was the EndureArt channel, and lo and behold, the EndureArt channel actually generated far more interest, because what was happening, that sometimes when you're trying to do it as a business, I think people see it as that, and the interest is not there quite as much as it was with my secondary one, which is where I was just trying to help people. So EndureArt has about 60 videos on there. If you go back and look, you'll see the really early stuff where there wasn't good lights, where we didn't do anything. You see some green screen videos that we made there, and then we put white background and other things in, and we made series of bits and pieces. And in foam boards, you'll see how we're now driving traffic from what was just simply me making a model for architects as to how to build things out of a product we were selling, which was the board itself, has generated into a following now where I'm starting doing live training with people with model building. Now, all of those things, we run several live training things every month on monthly recurring, and we have little membership sites and things both for picture framing and for that model making. And also now we're starting to do some internet stuff with membership sites. So there are plenty of avenues for making an income using the various methods. as everybody says, money's in the list, things like that. Really, you need to generate leads, find your perfect market, and once you've learnt how Instant Customer works with generating leads, all you really need to do is go and generate leads for some clients, and that is what you get paid for. Like, help them convert that. You can give advice that they might need to help them convert the lead, but you don't necessarily need to know about their business, although it helps to gradually understand their business so that you can help devise programs for them. But really, once you start dropping leads into clients' lists, people are paying anywhere up to $100 a lead for some of those things. And so when you take a client from 30 leads to 200 plus leads a month, there's a huge cost saving for them, really, because they're not having to pay. They're paying before up to $10 a click, let's say, in Google, to just get a click. And when you actually generate a lead with a mobile number, with hopefully addresses and things like that, and even their social profiles and all that sort of stuff, it really becomes powerful, and clients actually love you. Once you bring people's names and addresses and they've got that interest, that business, that they have something that they want, then they can start the relationship. And this is the real key. That's where most of the businesses are losing out. They all try to do something with Facebook, try to do something with YouTube, try to do all these things, but it's the lead capture part, and that's what you should be doing with Instant Customer first, is getting the lead capture right, and then obviously doing the video marketing and things like that. So anyway, it has been a real pleasure to have you guys here today. We're gonna just wrap it up, and look, I'll see you in the forum, and I hope you all do really well with everything you're doing in Instant Customer. And if we can partner up, do anything, please just send me a message in the forum, or you can get hold of. I'll give you a Gmail address, just one in here, but you can find me all over the internet, actually, because I do all sorts of wacky things. I still hold the world record for the furthest thing ever thrown by a human, which, if you search the world's longest boomerang throw, you'll see that we've got an amazing distance there. Gee, it's all right. Just trying to talk. Bear with me. I think I just cut all that chat off. Anyway, what we'll do? Oh, there we go. It's all right. Don't you love the tech when you're pushing on little mouse pads rather than using a mouse itself? In fact, that was one of the other things that that Mike's advice of using hardwired instead of wireless. We were running wireless today. Great, we got through, but also rather run a network cable, and that way you haven't got a problem with drop out of your wireless. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. I'm going to stop the broadcast now, and we'll chat to you again soon. Thanks a lot for coming.